Okay, what I want to do today is kind of go over the band list for EDH. I was inspired to do this because I saw MoxMan. MoxMan had a little short video, MTGMoxMan, this Canadian YouTuber that he does pretty good stuff. I really like him. I enjoy watching his content. But he had the short about Tolarian Academy. Should Tolarian Academy be unbanned? And of course, a lot of people in the comments were saying, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" And a lot of other people were saying, "Yes, unban it. I want to play it." But I got to thinking, it doesn't matter if they unban it. Really? I mean, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the Unbanned Academy? Let's take a look at the price. So, Tolarian Academy, I own 2, so poor, English, and it's in different languages. So you get one for 50 euros. Probably 55 with shipping. So these are going to be 60 with shipping because postage has gone up. So overnight it's going to double. Literally like the next day. If they unban it, the next goddamn day you'll come here. This one will be 80. This one will be 100, 120, 100, and up. And over the next few weeks, as those are gone, then it'll hit 1,000. That will take a while, but it will exceed Gaia's Cradle's price within a very short amount of time. But what effect will it have on the game? Who's going to see it? For example, in my play group, I'm the only one that really plays reserve list cards. I own 2 academies, 1 for the art, 2 on the off chance that they go crazy and they unban it. So on the off chance that happens, I can sell one to buy a Library of Alexandria, because I don't see that going up. But I see an Academy going up if they unban it, going up like mad. And Shroom will get one. And think about the people playing now. For example, we have this guy, Roman. Roman is a new player. Roman has 2 decks. He has a black-blue horror precon, and he has a black-red-white Fallout Caesar Soldier precon. He doesn't know what a fetch land is. We had to explain it to him. He knows now. He didn't know what a shock land was. Okay? He has no idea about any of these reserve list cards. So that takes me back to the point about the ban list. So let's take a look at, and this is the official Commander Rules Committee website. I invite you, I recommend, not invite you, it's not mine, I can't invite you to shit. I recommend you take a look at it just to poke around, get an idea of the Rules Committee, get an idea of who they are, what they think, but keep in mind they're not independent anymore. They have as much independence from Wizards of the Coast now as Panama does in the United States. And if you want an example of that, look at the invasion of Panama in 1990, when Panama decided to say some things about the canal that Washington didn't like. Washington went down and spanked them. If the Rules Committee does things that Wizards of the Coast doesn't like, Wizards of the Coast will spank them, because they own the property. They own the names. They own everything. But it's advantageous to them to have an image of an independent organization carefully curating the Commander environment. It's only a veneer. It's only an image. It's not fact. Excuse me. So, and so let's recall. Okay, so this should be pretty obvious. It's banned because of, they say, poor optics. It's because of the price. Because they wanted Commander to be accessible. They wanted people to be able to afford it. They didn't want a lot of, even at the time, we're talking, 20 years ago, when Commander first started, really, 20 years ago. Ancestor Recall was only a few hundred dollars. Now it's a few thousand, right? But they didn't want that image. They didn't want that impression. And they didn't touch the dual lands because back then, dual lands are about $20 to $30. So they were fine with that. Okay, that's how much price creep has gone up. So anyway, I don't see this ever coming off because there's no point. If it comes off, maybe 2 people will play it. 2 people that have it, the couple of vintage players that also play Commander. So that doesn't matter. Balance, this ain't coming off because it really screws the game state. So this is one of the cards that is on here because it creates bad feelings, really bad feelings. For example, if I have balance in a white deck, I've got to throw an orb. And I'm holding, I don't know, anything gives my lands back. So, sacrifice all my lands to throw an orb after floating the mana. Cast balance. Hey, you guys lose all your lands. Look, bang, mine come back. Ha ha, sucks to be you. Shit like that. That's why it's off, because it costs only 2 white. Now, there are other cards that do this sort of thing, other cards with this sort of effect, but they cost a lot more, so you have time to kind of see it coming. Once the game gets to about turn 5, turn 6, once people have about 8-10 mana running around with their mana rocks and their ramp and the lands they played, you kind of have to expect crazy broken shit to happen. You don't really want crazy broken shit to happen on turn 3 or 4. You're not even really going in most games. Now, I have played in groups where we are going by turn 3 or 4, and it creates an arms race, and that's where it goes into my Astrushna Prague concept. Astrushna is a term that I'm using for groups that I play with, where by turn 3 or 4, if you're not ready to go, if you don't have defenses, if you don't have a counter if you're playing blue, if you don't have any viable threat, even a small viable threat, something interesting, you're behind, and you're going to fall further behind quickly. Prague is more casual. So, balance, if we're unbanned, that would fly in Austrasian. Those guys would play it. I'd play it because they're going to, so would I. But Prague, no. Because of the bad feelings it generates so early in the game. I mean, people complain about overloaded Cyclonic Rift, right? That costs 7 mana. Imagine the same feelings you get, the same frustration from an overloaded Cyclonic Rift that you can't deal with on turn 3 or 4. Or for 2 mana. And they've got a lot of mana that they can recover. They can float mana, they can exile their creatures in response to the sacrifice, they can do something. So that's going to stay banned. Biorhythm, I don't know. So Biorhythm was last printed in 8th edition. You know, that was a long time ago. 8th edition was 2000, 20 years ago. So for 20 years, Biorhythm has not been printed. So a lot of people don't know about it. Now, if they unban it, Wizards is going to say, oh, good, we can reprint it and make some money, push the set. At 8 mana, typically this would go in some big mana, big ramp green deck. It's pretty much an instant win, or it puts you in such a strong position that your opponents really can't recover from it. There's ways to play it as an instant win. You destroy your opponent's creatures, play a Biorhythm, bang, you win the game. Because their life goes to 0 if they have no creatures. But the thing is, in 8 mana sorcery, and with all the other broken shit that they're playing now, all the other broken things that they're introducing into the game, I don't think this matters so much. My feeling is that if it came off the ban list, really wouldn't change a whole lot. Really wouldn't do anything. That's just what I think. Black Lotus, ain't coming off. Costs too much, too ubiquitous. Creates the impression that if you want to have a really... Some people play really competitive Commander and they love it. They love playing hardcore competitive Commander. They play with a group of lads that are all playing at the same level and they are all out to cut each other's throat. Those lads would all run Black Lotus. And in function, what would happen is if Black Lotus fell off the ban list, the Chinese proxy vendors would see a sudden urgent surge in sales. Because people would, I'll just get a counterfeit Black Lotus. I mean, I've got a couple in my vintage decks, so why not? But I don't see it because there's no reason to take it off. Taking it off adds nothing to the game, only fuels the growing impression among some people that the game is all about money. You pay to win. Some people look at some of my decks and think this, and then they realize, if they listen to the damn video, that, as one man pointed out, I am playing a $700 deck at a $70 level. It is not optimized. What am I doing? I should have these cards to optimize my deck and make stronger. No. I play strong cards because I own them, because I have them, because I like them, because I want to play them. I don't want them just to sit in a binder. So that's why I play them. Now, since I have these strong cards, the rest of the deck has to be powered down a bit. Voya is a great example. Voya can really push. I bought a Maskwood Nexus for him. He has one. It's foil. But he doesn't have it in the deck. It's just waiting for him. I bought it. It's in my binder. I'm not putting it in because it's just too much. And then all the shapeshifters. Some guys have run a bunch of shapeshifting creatures. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with the one Mirror Entity because he's cute and he's cool. But no, because I need to keep it at a power level that doesn't fuel the arms race, that doesn't exceed the parameters excuse me, of the casual prog group. So Black Lotus would fuel into that. And like I said, since Wizards can't reprint it, and it would create a bad impression in the game as far as it being a money game, there's no reason to take it off. That's the thing. Some people talk about the ban list, and they don't look at, well, what is the reason for taking it off? They think, oh, they should just make it smaller. Well, why? Why should some of these things, what will it bring the game overall? I mean, it'd be fun to play with Braids. It'd be fun to play her as the old cannot be your commander rule that they took away and they think we're too stupid to deal with, like Mana Burn. They think we're too... They make this really complex game. They put walls of text on the fucking cards, and they think we're too stupid to deal with the concept of excess mana does a point of damage to you. That's one of the first concepts I learned when I started playing, and it was really understandable. If I tap 3 mana and I spend 1 mana, and I don't spend the other 2 and the phase ends, oh, I hurt myself. It's pretty goddamn easy to understand. Anyway, it does let me get away with playing Braid of Fire in Kenny, so there's that. So Braids, why is she on here? Bad feelings. People pump her out too early, toss her out. Everybody's got to start sacrificing when they're ready. It just creates bad feelings. So that's why she's banned. Channel, it just... Oh, you're at 40 life. Okay, so let's say they unban Channel and Biorhythm. On turn 1, with some green decks, on turn 2, definitely, okay, I'm at 40 life, I'm going to Channel, I'm going to pay 9 life, get 9 green, I'm going to play a Llanowar Elf, and I'm going to play Biorhythm. How many creatures do you have? None. You? None. You? 1. Okay, I'll deal with you later. So you 2 guys, you're dead on turn 2. That's why Channel's out, because we're at 40 life. So, no, it's not. I don't see it ever, because there's no reason for it. It doesn't add anything to the game. Green already has all kinds of ways of building fast mana, generating tons of mana. They don't need it. It doesn't give them any space that they don't already have. It just makes it faster. Chaos Orb, it's because you flip it. It's because you have to toss it in the air. Excuse me. And that can get really tricky. And people don't like tossing their cards in the air. So they don't want to do it. It's cool though. I like the art. Really like the art. This is funny. And there's the old I don't know if it was confirmed really. The old meme about somebody in a tournament, so they had Chaos Orb, and they ripped it up into tiny little pieces, and they sprinkled it like confetti all over their opponent's board and just annihilated their board. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's referenced in Chaos, Confetti, and Unglued card. So that's one of the first old Magic memes. But Chaos Orb, expensive, doesn't add anything to the game really. It's interesting space. But you have to get up at least 1 foot, and then of course, for non-Americans, okay, well, how much is a foot really? Because you want to get as close as possible. You're going to have people busting out rulers. You're going to have people, just want you to get right to the edge of that minimum distance. And people, of course, it creates a lot of arguments in the game. Coalition Victory. It costs 8. It costs 8 and you win the game. Right there in the spot. But it's a sorcery. It's a sorcery that costs 8, and you need 1 mana of each color. I think they should let this back in. I think for the kind of people that would play this, they're already doing shit like that, okay? I mean, Sliver players. Sliver players are already doing shit like this. Just give them Coalition Victory so they can get it over with, and we go into the next game, because that's what's going to happen anyway with the goddamn indestructible first strike. If I hit your draw card, oh, you can't block them anyway. Oh, they're flying, and I can tap them for mana, and they have Shroud. Screw you. You've got slivers of all the colors. You got to just win the game right now. Let's get the next one, and don't play the deck again. But I don't know what their decision-making process is. I don't know if they go back and review these cards every so often. Like, hey, should we pull Coalition Victory off? Hey, should we pull Chaos Orb? No, we're not pull Chaos Orb. Remember the last time I played Chaos Orb, Mike? You busted out the ruler, and I was trying to put it on the ruler so it was at least 1 foot, and then you said the table's kind of bent here, so it's going to... Too many arguments. But, like I said, I don't know what they apparently sit around sometimes. They meet, they sit around. They used to with Sheldon Maneri. Sheldon Maneri would talk about this. Unfortunately, he's dead now. He died. He died of cancer. But they, they have that secret lair that commemorates his life, commemorates his impact on the game. I bought 3 copies of it. And it's really nice cards. I'm really glad that they chose to honor it in such a way. But the new rules committee, the current people, I don't know how often they get together. I don't know what they talk about. I don't know if they review some or all of the ban list, or they just like, fuck it, it's the ban list, just ignore it. It'll go away. People will forget about it, which is true. People are forgetting about it. Emrakul, Eon's Torn. Okay. This is banned because of Reanimator and the fast mana. So, if I could play this guy in Animar, it'd be really nasty. I mean, sometimes I can get Kozilek the Butcher Truth out on turn 4, 5, sometimes. Not reliably, but there has been times he's come out pretty goddamn early, and it's pretty scary for the rest of the table. 5 more mana? Maybe turn 8? Turn 8, I'm playing this 15-15, take another turn, Annihilator 6, Indestructible Bastard. It's just too crazy. And the fact that it's colorless also feeds into it. Because any deck can run it. Any green ramp deck, Animar, anything. Fast black deck. So I don't see Emrakul coming off. Irrelevance. So I don't really know how this works. I guess a bunch of zero casting off spells. I know it does work because it's banned. And the problem is, so people somehow on turn 1, I guess with the Mox Diamond, I don't know, on turn 1 they would play Arreo. Okay? And then they would flip her immediately. They would play some free spells. They would play the 4 spells. And then she would flip. And she counters all of your opponent's first spells early in the game. They were able to do that. I don't know how. I know it's possible. I don't really want to investigate how it's possible. I'm sure some of you know And I'm sure some of you are going to go find out, because now you're curious how that's possible. But yeah, on turn 3, if you can't cast your first spell is countered every turn. Okay, so game over. Let's go to the next one. So that's why she's banned, because of the way she interacts and the bad things she does in the game. Falling Star, it's banned because of Chaos Orb 2. You have to flip it up in the air, throw it around. They don't like those kind of cards. And to be fair enough, a lot of people don't like those kind of cards. It is funny, though. It is funny. And like to say here, incentivizes players to physically spread their cards out over a large area. And the other thing is, it creates arguments as to, okay, can I rearrange my stuff at instant speed? Or, when I cast Falling Star, and I announce who I'm going to target, are they locked in? Can they not move their cards? Do you see what I'm saying? So if I have all my lands neatly placed, somebody casts Falling Star, can I suddenly spread out my lands over the whole goddamn table so they don't get destroyed? It doesn't say. And that'll create an argument. And that'll create bad feelings. So it's better just take it out. Fast Bond! This is kind of like Channel. Only you get lands that hurt you. So, I can see the foes both ways for Fast Bond. I could see unbanning it and it not having that much of an impact. Although with all the ways they have now of finding lands, it'll I'm now thinking of this arena deck. I played this arena deck against this arena deck last night, and this guy just had every way of finding lands in his deck because he was playing Burstfire Elemental. So he had every way of finding lands. So every turn he's putting 2 or 3 lands into play, and that's without Fast Bond. That's just using modern legal cards, historic legal cards. Let me get a drink of coffee so my throat's not so dry. Okay. So Fast Bond, I really don't know if it's safe to unban or not. Really don't. I kind of think it is, but I'm sure somebody would prove that it's not. Although, those kind of people, as with the Coalition Victory, as a bioalgorithm, they're going to do that kind of thing anyway. They're already doing it. They're doing it with the tools they have. This would just be another tool for them to be an aggressive, hardcore player. Because some people, like I said, some people want that. Some people do that. That's just the way it is. And if you don't want to play against them, don't. Otherwise, you're going to get... you're not going to like it. If you do like playing against that, and you like playing it, more power to you. Kick ass. Flash. So, why was this banned? Focal creature in the hand for 1 blue. Okay, so basically, because you can just throw a creature, unless you play its mana cost, reduced by up to 2. So, now, to be fair, okay, so you can play a creature card from your hand, and unless you pay its mana cost, now, maybe something you want to sacrifice. That's the other thing. If you don't care about sacrificing it, you can play it at instant speed, sacrifice it, and then you get whatever benefit you're looking for. Or, if you want to keep it, you pay its mana cost reduced by 2. And I can't think of anything else. I mean, there's, what, Quicksilver Amulet, Sneak Attack, Windy Canyons. What else throws creatures into play fast? There's other ways of giving them flash, but it's the sacrifice. I think it's the sacrifice that's the problem. Because, let's say I have Havoc Demon. For 2 mana, 1 and a blue, I flash into play Havoc Demon, I'd sacrifice him. So, all creatures get -5, -5. He's going to die anyway, so who cares if I sacrifice him? So, instant speed board wipe. And that's just one example. I'm sure there's dozens of others. So I can see why Flash is banned and probably not coming off. Gifts and Given. This is becoming a really long video. There's a lot more bullshit on here than I thought there was. I don't like that art. I prefer the old art, the Kamigawa art. But anyway, so Gifts and Given. You just go find your combo pieces. It's a super demonic tutor, so that's why it's banned. Storm decks, I mean, they'd love this. Nekazar, if I could play Gifts and Given, I'd play it in Nekazar, because some of the cards, I don't care if they go to the grave. You're going to put Walk the Eons in my graveyard? Okay, here we go. Draw 7. Golos. Why was this guy banned? So there's a lot of chatter about him. The thing is, I didn't get involved in it. I just saw people on Reddit talking about him. I heard discussions in the zeitgeist, in the ether, about him. But nobody was playing him in my group. I wasn't playing him, so it didn't impact me. So I didn't really see how powerful he was as a commander. So what does he do? When he comes into play, go find a land, put on the battlefield tapped. So if you keep blinking this guy, and then for 7, exile the top 3 cards of your library, play them with it. Yeah, so you play him, you keep blinking him, you get all your land, and then you keep doing that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's that can be broken. And since he's colorless, shit, all you need are a bunch of mana rocks and you're good to go. Alright, so I see why Golos is banned. Probably not going to be unbanned. Do I really want to keep going through this? Not really. If there's any that you want to hear me talk about, let me know. I mean, Sundering Titan. They reprinted Sundering Titan. Why? I don't know. Some of these cards, I can kind of see why. They reprinted in Double Masters. They reprinted it in recent sets. But Sundering Titan, it's been banned in Commander for years. It has no real impact or demand in other formats. There are some fringe legacy decks, some fringe vintage decks, maybe one fringe modern deck, maybe, probably not, that plays this. So why did they waste a slot on something that their biggest audience is not going to care about because they can't play it? Stupid. Anyway, let's wrap up with Tolarian Academy. That's what I was talking about anyway. So, Tolarian Academy. If they unban it, if they unban most of these cards, that's kind of the point I was trying to make, and then I got lost in looking at the actual cards. So, if they unban it, most people won't play it anyway. Most people won't even see one in real life anyway. So it kind of doesn't matter. For some of these cards, it doesn't matter because they're not going to get reprinted. They're not going to re-enter the game in any meaningful way. Biorhythm, that's not reserve list, so that could be reprinted. That could re-enter the game in a meaningful way. Sundering Titan, it was just recently reprinted. So if that was unbanned, there's adequate supply in the marketplace. People can find out about it. And it's affordable. It has no monetary value because it's been reprinted so many damn times. But Tolarian Academy, its monetary value is being suppressed because it is not playable legally in EDH. You take that away, and bang, price to the moon. Most of the other cards, same thing. Either if they did unban it, there are so few copies out there, and most of them are so old, especially the reserve list cards. People aren't going to see them. They're only going to see them if people like me show up. And again, to go back to the example of Rahman, the rest of the lads in my group. So let me show you this. This surprised me. This surprised me a lot when I looked at this before I started thinking about this video. This is Yavimaya Hollow. Yavimaya Hollow is one of my favorite lands. I love it. tap for colorless, 1 green, regenerative creature. All of my green decks, except my 2 Lord of the Rings precons, have Yevamai Hollow. A year ago, it got up to 150 euros. Now look at it. 40 euros. 45 with shipping. I sold my Mana Crypt, and I'm trying to figure out what reserveless card I'm going to buy. I would like to buy at least one good reserveless card I do not already own. I'm thinking Rasputin Dream River or Willow's Feature. Those are the 2 I'm thinking of. If you have any ideas for me based on the videos you've seen and the way I talk and the way you think I play, let me know. I'm open to suggestions, but I'm going to get at least one good reserveless card I do not already own. I'm thinking, shit, look at it. I should just go ahead and get another Yevamai Hollow. I should just go ahead and get another Vora's Stronghold. I mean, I own 9 of each. 26 euros. So, probably 30 with shipping, maybe 32. For a played Forest Rock, and look at it, that's not a bad condition. But the lads I play with, if they get 50 euros to pump the game, to spend on magic cards, they've got 50 euros burning their pocket. They'll go buy a precon. They'll go buy a complete deck. The genie would typically buy packs because he gets pretty lucky, I admit. His luck is pretty good. I don't know if it's survivor's bias, because he only talks about the good ones, and there's a lot more bad ones. I suspect that's kind of the thing, but I don't know. But me, if I get 50 euros to spend the game, I either buy singles to finish a deck, or I get some old card like this that will be good in a deck, or just has potential future value. So, shit, I should go ahead and get another Stronghold. I mean, I'm going to build Teysa Orzhov Sign. I'm going to build her. So, I need to get her Evora Stronghold anyway. She's black, creatures die. She kind of needs one. So that would be number 10 for me. And since I started kind of mentally thinking of Stronghold and Hollow together, if I've got 10 Strongholds, I should have 10 Hollows. That makes no sense. It's not logical. It's just a connection I have made somehow in my head, and it's there. But think of the games you play. Think of the games you play, and any player you've met that started in the last 3 or 4 years. How many of them play any reserveless cards, except by mistake because their older brother gave them his old cards when he realized they're into the game? Something like that. How many people see dual lands for a Stronghold? Evgeny, the genie, he likes to call them my bullshit Tony's bullshit lands. Well, I've been playing a long time, so yeah, I've got these bullshit lands, and I still pick them up time to time. You lads don't. So to go back to the whole ban list, there are cards they can take off that ban list, and it wouldn't matter, because nobody'd ever see them. Tinker they would see. I goddamn guarantee people see that. But Tolarian Academy, if they unban it, day after, double in price, a week or so, it costs as much as a guy's credit. Who's going to buy it? Who's going to jam it in a deck? Not many people. I mean, if the lads I play with aren't willing to spend 50 euros for a Stronghold, they sure as hell aren't going to spend 100 euros for Tolarian Academy in the first few hours after an unbanning. Do you see my point? Do you see what I'm saying? And then also, I was watching Rudy, and Rudy was talking about how nobody is really buying Vintage anymore. Vintage is dead. Vintage is, all these old cards, the prices aren't going up right now. They're just dead because the new stuff is so hot. And again, that just comes right back to the reserve list doesn't matter in Commander anymore. Because you don't see the cards. They're too old. The vast majority of players that are in the game now have started within the last 10 years, because the average, I think the average life cycle of a Magic player is 9 years, which is really, really long for a game. I forget where I read that. I think Mark Rosewater put that out a few years ago. So 9 years ago, the reserve list was already starting to fade. Now, today, it's definitely faded. You know it's there. I mean, you know that 1972 Porsche 914s exist, but you don't see them. I'm sure if you go looking for one, you can find one. You go to the right kind of auto show, you'll see one. And that's like these cards. They don't matter anymore.